How's it going, everybody? And welcome to Ready VIP episode 9. This is a very special episode for me. As you can see, I'm wearing my 9th shirt on my 6th pass. I'm joined by a very special guest, Sedona, aka Sed's Vortex, joining us as our VIP musician today.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. It's such an honor. I've been loving everything that Ready VIP has been doing, so it's just great to be a part of it.
I'm so glad to have you on. I just got to see you perform direct support for Level Up the other day, and man, what a show that was. Blowing the speakers off it. I got to hear Cymatics, your song, in person for the first time and was just like in awe. I love the concept of cymatics. I think that's what really happens to us, at a cellular level when we take live music to that degree. And so, we're going to talk today about Sedona's music, her influences, all the things that make up her art, and a little bit about the music video we're going to create at the end. So, Sedona, I'd love to hear a little bit about you, kind of your origin story. What's your Marvel come up?
So I actually did not start pursuing music until the pandemic in 2020. I've always had the itch to do music. I've always kind of sang in the shower, never professionally, but always had that little voice in my head to like, okay, like music's always there, but never really had the confidence or the time or um, the motivation to really get into it and dive deeply there. But I did attend audio engineering school. So that was like my first
Awesome.
introduction into the music industry on the behind the scenes side. So I did a lot of studio recording, live sound engineering as well, but mainly in the studio prior to the pandemic. So I was out in Nashville, Tennessee, operating the
Nice.
boards, setting up the whole rooms, like analog recording. So
Tennessee is a special place for music. It really is just kind of the cradle of so much that has happened in our country for music. And to be behind the scenes there, you learn a lot at a granular level. What was that experience like for you? How much did you take away from that into your music now?
yeah, I took a lot away from Nashville, being able to be hands-on with all the gear and the artists and all of the instruments. It was just surreal going from school where we have like a few different options to explore those different paths,
hmm
going to a huge studio, world renowned. I worked at Blackbird Studio. So it was
Wow,
just really awesome to be able to experience just like the high level of like artistry going on
definitely.
there.
I tend to
Yeah.
be one of
And
the people who like I look at the top level of anything that I do, whether it's I want to play chess, how do the chess masters play? I want to paint, what does a paint master do to get there, right? There's a pathway that you kind of see built underneath them, and you want to follow that because what are the steps to greatness to achieve that like level of excellence? And every artist, I think, to some degree strives for this, and the perfectionist in the artist can't help but like look at great art and want to achieve it. And so being around it, you get to see like things you wouldn't see from the outside. You get to pick up details that are like, these are the habits or these are the concepts I need to understand.
yeah, definitely. I mean, there would be sessions that would last for 20 hours and there would be
Best.
breaks here and there.
Yeah.
Yep, you have a little nap time, you get, your food, but man, they are just going all day because it's like, once you're in that flow state, you want to ride that
Mm-hmm.
out and you want to just do whatever it takes at all costs to protect that vulnerable position of being
Oh yeah.
able to create and like express that so vulnerably. So it was really, really inspiring getting to see that. And when the pandemic hit, I got laid off. It was like a huge
Mm.
thing where like everything was now like at a halt for the recording industry, the studio world. And I had so much time to myself that I was like, okay, like I literally have no excuses now. Like I have this DJ deck that's been sitting here just collecting dust. Like let me try to have fun with it. And in the beginning, it was just an outlet just to
Mm-hmm.
like, do something while we can't go out and have fun and interact with people. So I pretty much taught myself how to DJ during the pandemic and then taught myself how to produce as well. But Wyatt, my fiance, he has been a
Mm-hmm.
huge, huge help because he used to actually rap as well.
Nice. Shout
Um,
out Prettyhardmusic, right?
yes, we love it. And he's made his own beats for like a
Mm-hmm.
decade now. So he's definitely helped me navigate the world of production and Yeah, I think blending both the analog world, being hands-on with the gear and physically seeing it,
Hmm.
along with the artists who are just determined, motivated, just, they just want to tell their story. And seeing all that combined, I was like, man, I gotta go for it.
You
I
should,
have no
yeah.
time to waste.
I have said it, I think, at least once on Ready VIP, but I'll say it again because we have brought up the topic of what happened to so many artists during the pandemic. It has almost become a motif of our first 10 episodes because so much incredible art was born during this time. It is a place of, negative impact globally. But I always look back at the Renaissance and remember that it came on the heels of the Black Plague. It came on the heels of
Yeah.
the Dark Ages, right? Like when things were at its most bleak, humanity turned around and made art. And so when we shut ourselves in and take a little time for ourselves, it's amazing what we'll come up with.
Yeah, the introspection was a huge key in that for me. I've always wanted to like write lyrics and I've always written poems and kind of being able to fuse it together. It did become like therapy for me. It became something that I turned to when the world was so dark and scary. We didn't know what was going to
Hmm.
happen, that I could like at least have it out of my head into this realm where it feels like, okay, I got it off my chest.
Yeah.
So,
Express
yeah.
yourself and create your own world at the same time.
World building. Yes. Yes.
Speaking of world building, so you have been doing quite a bit of that at your projects with all of the art and music combined in what you do and the artistry you put behind it. So let's talk a little bit about that. Where are your influences? What kind of pushed you to make said, and where does she come from?
Yeah, so I would have to say my top three artists. I'm a big music lover, so I listen to
Yes,
everything. It's
me too.
hard for me to even say like a top three because I'm like, okay, which genre then? But if I'm talking more of what inspired me to get into DJing, into
Hmm.
producing, following my own path, definitely Flume, huge
Nice.
inspiration for me. I love how he is not afraid to be outside of the box, outside of the
Hmm.
norm, weird time signatures, weird sounds, but he also finds a way to save space for vocals and people to be
Hmm.
featured on there, like rap and singers. So Flume is definitely one of the
Pushing
best.
the boundaries of the experimental areas for sure.
Yes, yes. And then another person who definitely pushes boundaries, Flying Lotus, one of my favorite
Yes.
too. He was actually the first DJ I saw back in 2015 at Camp Flog Gnaw. I
Wow.
had never seen anybody behind decks with visuals or anything. And like my friend was like, oh, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go see this. Like, I promise you're gonna love it. And as soon as like the first 2 minutes came on, I was just immersed in the bass and the visuals and the story. And I was like, where has this been all my
It's your
life?
10-year moment. I mean, hey, we're coming up on your 10-year
You're
anniversary of that.
right. Oh my God. Wow.
That is
Wow.
the epoch of a 10-year journey. And when we talk about the 10,000 hours, now you're on the other side of it.
That is surreal actually, because like you just get in the habit of go, go, go that you don't realize how much time has gone by and like
Hmm.
what influences you had even way back in the day until you really think about it. So wow. Yeah. Shout out to
Absolutely.
Flying Lotus.
Love that. So that's two of the three, and you still have one more you're hiding.
Yes. And then G Jones. I'm wearing the G Jones shirt as well.
Nice.
But I love G Jones, just the emotion that you can feel in his music. And just, again, he's not afraid to push boundaries. I like really weird, trippy things that don't make sense sometimes that makes it exciting for me to listen to. I love stuff like that. And he is able to just put whatever he's feeling into his production
Mm,
and that synth heavy modular granular sound is just like
hmm.
that's what I'm going for. So
Love that.
yeah.
And so that builds some of your influences and kind of gives us some history on your journey too. So you just released a new album, right? That was, a big mile mark for a lot of artists is to be able to produce something that is so curated. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my first album, titled Origin Story,
Hmm.
came out in January of this year. And it was definitely a culmination of the journey it took me to get to Sets Vortex. So it was
Hmm.
also almost like the prequel to where my journey is now. And definitely audio engineering has a big part to play in that. Just my journey through life, thinking that I
Hmm.
wanted to be a nurse and go to nursing school and figuring out quickly that wasn't for me. And then,
Mm,
dropping out and feeling like, what am I going to do? Where do I fit in this world?
man,
How
that's
can
real.
I best use my efforts, but also feel creative at the same time. So it's definitely a journey of just figuring myself out, soul searching,
Hmm.
doing things, to see what I like, trying new things, and then ultimately, through that whole journey of, going to audio engineering school, going to Nashville, living through the pandemic, I'm like,
Hmm.
man, like there's no better time than now. What do I
Yeah.
have to lose? And that whole journey is depicted through the album, starting with Genesis, which is the
Hmm.
first track on there. It's definitely like the startup of the back voices, I like to call them,
Hmm.
calling to me in my head, kind of like urging me towards this path of like, yeah, follow your intuition. A lot of the times I was super insecure about what people would think of me, how
Hmm.
people would present, or how people would resonate with what I'm doing, how they will
Mm.
perceive me. There's lots of moving parts in that, and it's easy to get in your head. And so I think origin story was just breaking away from like the self-doubt and just, like this is my life, this is my path. And,
Hmm.
if you're loving what I'm doing, welcome to the club. And, if it's
Nice.
not for you, that's totally fine. Yeah.
I love Origin Story. It was the one, like, several of your songs were immediately put into my little playlist. I even shared a little thing earlier on Instagram where I was like videoing me going through and listening to your new song, and I pulled it up, and then I watched it again later. And I was like, oh yeah, you can just see a bunch of my playlists out there. That's great. Um, but that one in particular, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, this is incredible. This is art. But that song, man, it gives me goosebumps. And I got to see it live too, which was like, you guys want some goosebumps? You want the feels that like live music, also the same thing, gives you?
Yes.
Go see Origin Story. Go see Says Vortex. Have her open up
No.
that live. You'll get the goosebumps too.
And it's seriously so true. Like I didn't really immerse myself into the electronic world until I saw it live. And it
Mm,
didn't click for me until I was like in the crowd with people. We're all experiencing seeing the same thing and all the different frequencies and sounds that you're hearing. It gives you goosebumps, and it's something that I've never experienced. And it's now I'm like, I'm hooked. I can't get away from the scene, and
it's
the
true.
community is just so beautiful around it. Like the rave community has literally like saved my life and has given me a place to just express what I want and have it just an open, safe space, which is what I love.
Here, here.
Yes.
Same here. I couldn't agree more. And for anybody listening, not only is the community a really safe space, but a lot of people out there want to create a safe space for you to enjoy it. They want you to be there and be part of the community. And as weird as it sounds, people you've never even met are thinking about you right now, going, how can I make this experience awesome for them? Um,
Yes.
I think it's a lot of the kind of same fundamentals that ravedaddy is built on, the app that we try to use to bring people together, and is just looking out for people, not for any other reason other than just wanting to look out for people, to take care of people when they're vulnerable. And music is a great space for that because people are vulnerable in life every day, all the time, right? And then we go into this
Life is
place,
hard.
and life is hard. And music lets us touch that other dimension where we're able to be raw, we're able to be emotional and be okay with that and just be in the moment.
Yeah. And there's definitely a freedom to that. And
Yeah.
being able to experience that with so many different people, there's people that will come up to me that I meet that day that I'm just like, I could just feel that overwhelming sense of just respect and love and, support
Hmm.
that is not in any other part of the music industry that I've at least experienced.
Same.
Um, and it's just something that I have to be a part of. And that's definitely where I named my fan base after
Mm.
Tribe. I like
Hmm.
to associate people that are like in my broadcast channel or supporters of me, my tribe, because it's a community that I want to build, that I want to have and support people to lean on, and just a safe space to
Hmm.
express what we need to express, have music there, and then have us be free.
Absolutely. You get to be kind of the own magical leader of your own tribe.
Yes, yes.
So, we talked a little bit about your album. Is there any other songs you want to mention? Are there any other details you want to get into before we move on? Because I know sometimes music is so personal. You could talk about it for hours and be like, oh, there was this one thing. How did I forget it? That's the one song I was going to talk about and I forgot.
Yes, and I'm still getting used to like plugging myself into.
Mm,
Like I'm such like this is so new to me that like of course I want to like talk about it and like have bragging rights, but at the same time it's like I'm still getting used to like hyping myself up in
Hmm.
this journey too. So no, thank you for giving me the opportunity to touch a little bit more on some songs. I'll go back a little bit into Genesis. That was definitely the first track of the album. I wanted to create a song that I could play as an intro for my live sets,
Hmm.
something that I could just put on there. Immediately you're hearing the vocals. You're also hearing all the different whimsical, ethereal energy that I'm putting through there. And then I incorporated two tempo changes in that song too. So as soon
Yes.
as you're kind of hearing your heart racing a little bit, kind of speeding up, like that's what you're feeling is that BPM change there,
That's the
kind of
hallmark of an
igniting the spark.
incredible musician, especially DJs, right? Is be able to control the mood and the elements of the song through the BPM. So great, great. I remember hearing it going, oh, this is clever. I see what you did there.
Yes, yes. And I wanted to like almost resemble it like, okay, we're getting the motion starting, like, as almost like a vortex or a whirlpool, like, okay, we're starting the motion here. And as soon as we're getting the momentum, it's going to keep going. So, going into the next song, which is Rumination, that's a very special song for
Hmm.
me because that is a song that pretty much depicts like my self doubt, all the inner voices in my head, my inner saboteur and all the different things that I'm letting get in the way of my true passion and what I want to follow in life. And so that song really represented just me kind of like breaking out of that negative thought loop and having more self-respect for myself, treating myself better, like having more grace with myself. And
Mm,
my journey is not
that's
going to
real.
be perfect. But I have to like learn to fail and be okay with failing and just come up and persevere and keep going. I also wanted to say that the five songs they do flow together. I
Yeah, they
wanted
do.
to make an album that flowed, almost kind of like a set. And yeah, the next song, Cymatics. So we're kind of like getting through the soul searching, the self doubt. Okay, I'm now getting more into my own, coming into my own. Cymatics definitely represents my whole music journey as far as audio engineering goes, studio recording, live sound, the fun part of getting into the music industry and having everything be new for the first time and just experiencing, it was a very exciting time in my life because it was like I didn't really have a clear direction of where I was going, what I wanted to do, but I was just riding the wave, And cymatics, I wanted to make it fun. I wanted to have a bunch of different genres within the song, which I incorporated like a bass drop, I incorporated
Hmm.
a house drop, and then I did another tempo change
Hmm.
into the drum and bass drop. So I wanted to incorporate like organic sounds that you can hear like every day to tie back into Hans in the very beginning saying how
Yes.
cymatics is, what cymatics is.
I love
And
that. I love old-timey clips sampled into music. It's one of my favorite things. Like I listen to cymatics almost every day, so it's part of my Dub Dimension playlist, right? And so
it's so
uh,
much.
I was actually just while you were talking, so I have it sandwiched right after Interface Wheel and Alien Communication by Subtronics, and he's
Yeah.
got some sampling in there too. So right, you get to hear Michio Kaku talk about like string theory, and then we get to hear cymatics, and like it just takes you through the headspace of all the weird stuff. And so it's in my regular rotation. And the breakdown. Like I can hear it now in my head, just whoa, whoa, whoa. And like I want to just like play it for the audience. You need to be moshing right now. You should hear what's inside my head. It's incredible, right? That song is it hits hard, and it has
Oh,
some musicality to it that you don't always find in songs that are that heavy, right? And I think that that's kind of the hallmark of what makes Sed's Vortex, your project, so incredible is marrying those musical elements with the like raw power and expression of like dubstep and heavy hard bass.
yes, yes. To throw it back, I actually started listening to dubstep in like 2009, 2010, the UKF era and like all the different, Flux, Excision, Nero, Dr.
Yes.
P. So that has always been the core of my sound is like just dubstep based music. But I do love the organicness of music, incorporating pianos, incorporating strings, incorporating horns, things that you may not always hear And it can be a struggle to kind of tie it together. But I try to, when I'm producing, just going with the flow and trying new things. And like, something that may not work here, if I take it out, oh, it may work over here. Or, oh, I put this right here, and then I can kind of off of this sound base the rest of the song and where it's going off of that sound. So I just wanted cymatics to be a really fun interpretation, but also having like that scientific level of like, yeah, we are all frequency and
Hmm.
sound, and different things that resonate will create different energy. And that's definitely what my name's all about. Suds Vortex is, my energy, sharing my
Hmm.
energy with the world, an energetic whirlpool of all different emotions and things. But I definitely wanted to take it on a journey with cymatics for sure.
Nailed it.
I love the Han sample I had. I
Me too.
almost was like kind of like insecure. I was like, do I need to put this in here? Does it sound like okay? But like
It's
I was
so
like,
good.
I gotta do it. I gotta do
It's
it.
it sells it, and I think it's also a good pause, right? After as the album is curated to be an experience, right? There has to be quiet moments, there has to be exciting moments, and this is like your
Yes.
cinematic moment where you're transferring from one song into another, and you take them down the lens and you show them a little bit of cymatics before you explode it back open.
Yes, yes, exactly. And going in from cymatics to epiphany, that was definitely the
Yeah.
part of the journey where I was like, oh my gosh, like I can do this myself. I'm putting all these hours in. I have all the skills, this foundation of sound and music that I can really incorporate into my project. And I wanted Epiphany to be more of like a heavy rock related genre because I'm trying to incorporate more pop punk, rock vocals
Nice.
into a lot of what I'm doing. So I wanted some of that production to speak for itself on the album too. So with Epiphany, I kind of started off like very quiet. It kind of creeps back in and it goes on a journey of, crazy instrumentation, different bass lines, different
Hmm.
guitar lines. And I just wanted it to feel like a real band was up there. And then all of a sudden you get hit with the techno moment. I'm trying to do multi-genre
Yep.
incorporations as well. And I wanted it to be exciting and fun and something that kind of made you feel like, okay, I
Hmm.
can't ignore it. There's so much going on and it's so in my face and there's, so many different things happening that like I can't ignore this. And that's kind of how like the epiphany was for me.
I like Epiphany. And I think it's the hallmark of this album, and you've described it several times of bringing in all the genres and trying to use a lot of your different musical influences to create something new and something very personal in you. And when you like look at it laid out and you're trying to put all the pieces together, it's not as easy as some people might assume to build this puzzle, right? Like it's very abstract at first because you have a lot of ideas you're trying to marry, and not all of them are easily married. Some of them you're
No,
like, this is a
half of them aren't
concept
going to
in
work.
here. How do I put it into the music?
Right.
And but what this creates, I think, especially for you as an artist with your own trajectory, is when you watch artists develop, a lot of times they have two directions to go. They box themselves in very early because their sound is very specific. I do this, my audience loves this, and this is what they expect from
Yes.
me. But if you build a rich, fertile ground of diversity in your early albums, then everything you do later can pull from those elements, and you could do a whole album based on some of the other elements, and people go, it's definitely still Sedona.
You got it right on the nail. Like that is literally why I wanted to create an EP and for my first EP to do anything, have no limits on the genre. I didn't have like, oh, I wanted one house drop, one drum and but I didn't really think of it like that. I just knew that I wanted
Mm,
something that had a wide range of genres because it's so easy to get boxed in and it's so easy for your audience as well to just kind of expect to you to do the same thing.
mm,
And it can be really hard as an artist to feel like, okay, well, I've done this for so long. Like, how do I box out and branch
yeah.
out? And so I wanted to kind of like challenge myself and see, like, right out the gate what I could do with it. And then in the future, like you said, I can build off of those vibes and create different avenues. And yeah, I'm always wanting to do different sounds, different vibes. Because to me, that's more exciting. And I don't feel as like mundane creating the music. So, and I
Hmm.
hope that you guys can feel how excited I am when I'm producing the
Definitely.
music. So that's definitely the intention for that.
That's good. I think a lot of that comes through in your music. And you could have not said it, and I think people would have known it. But saying it also lets you know, as an audience member, that you're putting this much thought into them and their experience, right? You're not just from the artist lens of, I'm giving you my art, but then you turn the chair
Mhm.
around and you sit in their chair and you go, how are they receiving? What are they receiving? And how do I send something that they want to receive?
Yeah, yeah, because at the end of the day, it is my artistry and it is about what I want to put out. But I also want to I'm always an audience member too. I go to concerts, I go to raves. I always position myself in the crowd and be like, okay, like what would I want to see next, or what am I missing that I usually see from other huge inspirations? I'm always, like you said, trying to learn from the best of the best, the people who are masters at their craft, seeing what they're doing, putting that down. Where can I incorporate that into what I'm doing now? And that's definitely like where the leap comes from. It's crazy because that was actually the first song I wrote off the album 4 years, actually four and a half,
Wow,
almost
really?
5 years ago. The leap I wrote during the pandemic in 2020. And that's
Awesome.
when I had been laid off of my job at Blackbird, not really knowing what to do, missing home, missing Arizona. And I did write the leap about taking the leap of quitting audio
Yeah.
engineering and kind of coming back to my roots and going for it as an artist. So yeah, the leap was a huge, huge song for me. Like when I was recording the lyrics a year ago, getting the EP ready, I was literally crying because it's just been like 4 years of just this crazy journey that I've
Wow.
been on, that it just feels surreal that I'm even here, and I'm just blessed to be doing what I'm doing. And it's amazing to see that the leap, even though it was 4 years as far as the lyrics were written, how it ties into what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
Trying to take the leap and dive further into maybe doing more out of state shows and getting my name out there, working with other artists and doing more collabs, and just trying to navigate my way through the industry by staying true to my artistry, but also like having an open door for people who want to learn, who don't
Hmm.
know what to do. Or, I'm always an ally for people that want to get started. And that's a huge reason why I do what I do. I want to inspire people to think for themselves and to just, what do you want? What do you desire? And go for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that takes a lot of courage too. That's not an easy thing to like live out on the tip of that spear.
It's not. And I've had to reinvent myself many, many times in my life,
Mm.
thinking I dead set on a certain path and that's what I'm gonna full force, 100%, go hard or go home. And then, okay, that's not for me. Humble step back. Let me
Hmm.
see what I need to do to
Reorient.
reevaluate. And
Yeah.
a huge theme in my project, in Origin Story, but in the Sets Vortex project, is resilience, perseverance, and courage. So I love that you said that, because yeah, it's not an easy path, and a lot of people don't talk about just the mental warfare that goes on, not
Oh
only with
man.
yourself but with the world and social media that you have to constantly be in tune with. And yeah, it's a balancing act, and I've had to, over my journey, like learn that, okay, like self-care is definitely needed. Burnout
Hmm.
is real. Even though
Yes, it
I'm
is.
loving what I'm doing, the burnout can still come
You
at
can
any
burn out
time.
loving what you're doing. That is, oh,
Yes.
that's real. That's life, man. I've been
Yeah.
there. That's hard too. Because you're not exhausted by doing the thing you love. You're exhausted because it's normal to be exhausted, and those are the hard things to like marry. You're like, I want to do
Sorry.
the thing. The body is bruised, but the spirit is willing.
My mind's like yes, but my body's like no.
Oh, exactly. Sedona, I'd love to hear about your new song. I actually just listened to it for the first time today. I was like in prep for this podcast, gotta listen to the new drop, and it actually, immediately remembered it from seeing you play it live, and I was like, oh, she previewed this at her set at level. Ah!
Just a little sneak peek.
Yeah, and it was really good. I screen recorded it and I shared it on Instagram, and it'll probably be in the show notes for this episode. But tell us a little bit about that song. You and Echo Drone put together something really haunting.
Yes, yes. And the opportunity, how it all came about, was very organic, and I'd love to share a little bit about it.
Definitely.
So when I opened up for Barely Alive in March of 2024, I put a few of Echo Drone songs in my set. anytime people will reshare after the show and tag me, I will always try to tag the artist and reshare. Or
Hmm.
if I can, put the song in there, show some love and support. I always think that's really important. Always give credit when credit's due. So I did that, and he saw one of the videos. He reached out and was like, "Oh my gosh, like thank you so much for playing my song. It's so awesome." Gave me a follow, which I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's so sweet." So of course,
Nice.
like love the support. And then he messaged me back, I think maybe the next day or so. I think he had seen one of the reels that I had posted of me singing. He was like, "Oh my gosh, like your voice is great. I would love to have you on one of my songs." And
Hey, you go, girl.
yeah, it was like my first big opportunity, big moment outside of the local scene. And it was just really cool how it really happened organically. I think he's based in North Carolina. So he is East Coast
Hmm.
over there. And so I was like, absolutely, let's work on something. If you have like a little whip in mind, send it my way and I'll try to write to it. So he did. He sent it my way, and it's hilarious. He had Katy Perry's "Last Friday Night" lyrics as placeholders into the
Nice.
song,
That's
and I just
hilarious.
knew I was like, okay, this guy's awesome. Like I could just tell, like
Hmm.
this is gonna be a fun opportunity. And at the time, I was like, trying to write to it, and I'm like, man, I'm just not in a very fun party mood right now. I have been going through a lot of trauma, a lot of
Mm,
different things going on in my life, losing relationships and people. And I just
that's
could
real.
not get away from that in my head. So
Mm,
I was like, you know what, maybe I just need to like get this out, write this out. And Wyatt and we went up to Sedona, and we love to go to the vortexes up there
me
and just kind
too.
of like sit there and just like let the stillness and the quiet just give you a reset. Our
Best.
favorite one is, yeah, it's the best, the best. Our favorite spot is the airport vortex. So we were just sitting up there, and I'm just trying to brainstorm. And within like an hour, the song came to me. And I was
Nice.
up there kind of like jotting down ideas. And I'm just like, okay, I think I just need to like write about this concept, get the lyrics out, and then kind of see what I can do with it. So I record it, I get the lyrics over to him, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, now that I have this in front of me, like let me really see what I can do with it." He's like, "If you're okay with it, I'm actually going to like scrap what I sent you. I'm going to just write something completely new for it."
Wow, love that.
Which is like honestly
Huge.
the dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he heard the story that I was wanting to tell. He heard the pain, he heard the darkness, and he
Mm,
wanted to like, okay, hold on, no, we need a vibe switch for this. And it he couldn't have done it better justice. Nate killed the production. Like he took you on the journey of just the highs and lows. And
hmm.
the song is based off of losing someone you love to addiction, to substance abuse, to
Mm,
drugs, and just trying to navigate that journey of trying to help that person, not knowing what to do and how you can help and be of service to them, and
hmm.
them not wanting your help, and them pushing you away and just feeling so lost, and not knowing what to do, and wanting to just kind of tell that story of the struggle and the highs and lows of that experience. And he was able to just compose a song that like you're smiling, you're headbanging, you're laughing, you're crying, it kind of
Hmm.
takes you on all the highs and lows, and it's very special for me. So yeah.
I thought the song was also exceptionally timely. Like, talk about being on the bleeding edge of music, right? Because this concept, I think, was just in like like Nightmare just put out a song, about losing a friendship, death of a friendship, right? And I think we're
Yep.
all kind of in this, mind state, not all of us, but some of us who are going through it, right? Of
Yeah,
like,
most of us.
mourning and healing and also expressing that and being okay with that, like, and having a space for it. And I just thought it was a really powerful song because, like, it's easy for people to see the art and the struggle and think that's all the artist is, right? Is to be consumed by this. And clearly, you are also making other music that you enjoy and you love, but to be able to save space for this, because I know that there are people out there when they're going through it and they turn
Mhm.
it on, it hits, right? And that's
Yeah.
really what music's about. It's, you know, transportive. It's time travel, right? You're
Yes.
taking an emotion that you had and a time that you had, and you're giving it to somebody else in a different time and place, and they're getting to experience that and
Yeah.
and connect. It's real. It's a very raw song.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate like you being able to receive that from the song because yeah, it's a very emotional song. It was really hard for me to even want to write about it because it's something that like
Mm,
I'm not very open with a lot of the struggles that I go through. And like, so music is definitely one of those things where if I can like put it in a lyric, I can get it out and feel good. And it was definitely just a moment for me to heal myself and put that out there for other people to hear and to resonate and to know that, yeah, you're not alone. Like, we all go through all these different struggles and trials, and life is just so crazy. You never know which way it's going to take you. And you could, be having your life flipped upside down in an
mm,
instant and
so true.
having to like process that and, figure your life out from there when it looks so different. I just wanted to really write about that experience. And yeah, Echo Drone was able to really produce like a very heartfelt song. And just, yeah, I'm just so like over the moon that it's out and
Mm.
that people can hear it because like you said, like you even got that gist of like, yeah, like a death of a friendship and just how that impacts your life. Yeah.
It was interesting too, because going into it, like I didn't know what to expect. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna listen to Seth's new music before we get on here. And then I had to like check myself real quick and go, okay, this is emotional. This is a whole thing. And I had to like sit with it for a second. And then I also had to separate it because you're gonna come in here, we're gonna have a good time. You don't want to like carry all
Yeah.
that with you, right? But it's a powerful enough song to hit you at that level to make you go, I need to take a break. I need to breathe for a second. And that's a really good place to be as an artist, I think. So congratulations on just making
Oh,
some awesome art.
thank you. Cry bangers.
Yes, the inner emo kid in all of us. Um,
My scene girl is living right now.
s- swear. Um, so we've talked about some of the projects that have gone by. We've talked about your new project that just came out, but what is the future looking like? Let's time travel to there. Tell us what projects do you have in uh, the future, and where are you going? Where can people see you?
Yeah, so I definitely want to make it a goal to immerse myself in remixes. That has been something that I've been itching to do for a while now and just have been very focused on original music and shows. So definitely towards the end of the year, I'm going to dive in and you'll definitely be able to see my music taste and how
Nice.
random it is. And through those remixes, being able to kind of put my own spin and my own production style onto that remix. So I want to challenge myself, get more remixes out towards the end of the year. But right now, I do have a few collabs in the works as
Mm,
well. Um, my fiance, Pretty Hard, he's working on his debut
yes.
album. It's called Castle Rave, and
Awesome.
I believe it will be out this year, hopefully in October. Still kind of tentative on the dates for that, but I will be on 3 tracks with him. Yeah, he's like a 13 or 14 track album. It's gonna be crazy.
Nice. That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm really excited for him. And one of the songs that we have together, he'll be singing on, and that'll be our first time doing a duet on a track. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. And
When
yeah,
it
like
drops, we can
I'm
have him on, and then an excuse you can come back on and we can like all hang out and talk about the new music. That sounds great. And also, getting pretty hard music on Ready VIP sounds good. I wonder if I know
yes.
anybody who could
Hmm.
help me with this. I don't,
Maybe we could put a good word in, I think.
nice. But that's another episode. That's in the future. We're still on episode 9. And so with this, you have new music coming out. That's really exciting. Can you tell us
Yes.
anything about it? Is there any spoilers?
Yeah, yeah. So the 3 songs on the album, one of them's called Nightfall. That one will be the one where we're both singing on it, both doing production as well.
Nice.
Um, and I'll definitely reserve more of the story of his album for when he can be
Of
on
course.
this
Yeah.
episode. But the next 2 songs, one is going to be called Intention,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a culmination of just both of our intention with production and doing music. We actually started out as a DJ duo back in the day
Mm.
when we were
Nice.
first pursuing music called Never Strangers. And we
Oh.
always wanted to do it together and always have, the theme of like, no one's a stranger,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's welcome, everyone has a seat at the table. But we also wanted to kind of do our own thing too. So we decided to
Hmm.
do our own solo projects, and we're like, okay, well, we can collab, and like in the future, like that's when we can reserve that
Hmm.
space for. And intention was going to definitely represent the magic that happens. I definitely have the most fun when I produce with Wyatt, and we both bring a side out from each other that
Nice.
uh, is just awesome. So it's a very special relationship we have, and being able to do music together, it's a very beautiful thing. And we're always down to do fun, crazy stuff. So
And it's
that
not lost on me that you chose the word intention to set your intentions for a very magical moment. That's well done. The
yes,
subtlety
both
is well done.
right. We're both very conceptual artists, and like
Hmm.
we don't pretty much do anything without like an initial concept and our imagery to back it up, artistry to back it up.
Hmm.
So yeah, the next one will be called Bound by Consent. And yeah, he's definitely his fan base is more of like the submissives and pretty hard
Interesting.
and whatnot. So like yeah, he can definitely go more into that. But all three tracks are going to be pretty much like bass heavy,
Hmm.
uh, melodic as well, but more on the dark, heavy, um, let's see, what would you call it? Very triumphant, I would say, sounding. It's going to have a
Mm.
different energy to it. So it's very
Awesome.
exciting, very, very excited for him. And yeah, I have a couple other collabs in the works right now. Black Rose, who I previously collabed with,
Yes. Shout out Black
has
Rose.
Black Rose. We love Black Rose. Yes.
Black Rose is
So we're
awesome.
working on another track together. He's just phenomenal at producing, and he's so quick with it. And whatever he like brings to my attention, he's like, "What do you think of this? You want to hop on it?" And I swear, everything he brings over, I'm like, "Of course!" Like this is just insanity. So, yeah, we're hopping on a track together. I'm not too sure what the title is. I think it might be "Angels Like Me." We're still kind of in the rough works of it, but
Mm.
I'll be singing on there as well, doing production.
Nice.
So that's going to be coming out soon, probably like later this year, if not next year. Still kind of in the works with that.
I love Black Rose. I actually met him at a Nielsen concert of all places.
Yeah, shout out Nielsen.
Shout out Nielsen, love Nielsen. I still use his music. In the intro, when we first started ravedaddy, I used his music in the intro, and then on episode 8, the one that just aired today while we're recording this, I used it again. So I always like the
Oh,
opportunity to feature local artists' music in anything we do, and he's just nothing but player, man. Love that guy.
yes,
Um,
vibes.
so I met Black Rose at one of his shows, and instantly it was just like, oh, I love this guy's vibe. And I followed him, and he's got great music too. So that made it a lot easier. So it sounds like you have some other collabs coming up, though. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so this next one, wild story. His dad was actually the person who delivered me into the world.
What?
His dad. And it's crazy because my mom's labor and everything, it was a very compromised situation. I had to have
Oh
like
my
she had to
goodness.
have an emergency C-section, and he was the doctor that actually came in and like saved the day. So this guy, his name is Brad. He goes by, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's spelled Taoat. And he's been in the scene for a very long time. He used to do, I think, production in New York, if I'm not mistaken, but he's been upwards of like 10, 15 years, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, doing music and DJing. And it's funny, Wyatt's last show, Mike Dow, shout out Mike Dow.
Mike Dow.
um, he went on after Wyatt, and they got to talking, and he's like, yeah, like this guy, like I'm super inspired by everything he's putting out. And it was Brad, but we didn't know it at the time. So Wyatt was like, oh, I'm gonna follow him on SoundCloud and show some support, listen to his tracks. Wyatt was like, holy shit, this guy is fucking awesome. Like
Awesome.
we need to get on a collab with him. And Brad actually messaged us and was like, you guys, it's crazy. I've been waiting for this opportunity because I wanted it to
No
happen
way.
organically, but I know said my dad delivered her, and he's actually ran lights for me at
Nice.
Sunfire, I think for Flex Pavilion. So he's also part of the VJ squad and
Hmm.
lighting crew. And yeah, he was like, this is just so crazy how this all happened like organically. And he's like, I'd love to get on a track with you guys. And he has a very, very like clean like professional, old school like dubstep sound, and it's
Hell yeah.
very melodic, like back, it takes you back to like the days I got you into it.
The
And his
roots. Yeah.
is yeah, the roots. So we're gonna be working on a couple tracks with him too, and it's just
Awesome.
so full circle, the story.
Love that. What a wild story. You prefaced that with this was going to be a wild story, and I might have to actually cut the preface out because, but seriously, did not disappoint.
Yeah, yeah, it's so amazing to see not only how music brings people together, but just how small of a world it is and how we
Mm,
truly are all connected, and just
no
all
way.
these little
Yeah.
signs, if you pay attention to them, they're really like leading you in the right direction. And yeah, I just love the fact that I keep seeing people from my past that I haven't seen in years come to shows, or for example, people like Brad, who I've never met, but that we've kind of been in the know of each other and how
Hmm.
that comes into play into the current time that we're in. So it's beautiful.
Orbiting in the same solar system.
Right? Yeah, it's wild.
Heck yeah. So that takes us over your collabs. We have shows coming up.
So I, at the moment, don't have any shows booked right now.
What? What is the
I know,
world coming to?
I know.
No!
Coming soon, hopefully coming soon. It's been really tough because we're getting married this year. Wyatt and I, we're getting married this
Congratulations.
year in September, and
That's
the
an that
wedding plan.
that's acceptable.
It's been crazy. And I've definitely like I wanted to take the level up so I couldn't turn
Hmm.
that down. And
Of course.
there may be a possible tour in the works. I don't know, maybe this year or next
What?
year. So more details to come soon because I'm not at liberty to discuss
Of
yet.
course.
But just know that shows are definitely on the horizon. I'm not going anywhere, but definitely, real life milestones like getting married and wanting to put
Yes.
my energy into that. So
Absolutely. That's awesome. And congratulations. Super excited.
thank
Uh
you.
I don't know anybody else out there at Ready VIP. You might have just heard about this for the first time too. Some people might have just heard this as your wedding announcement. They're like,
Oh,
"What?"
right. Yeah.
So, um, awesome and a perfectly good excuse of not to have a bunch of shows booked because you got, stuff to do. Um, so where's the best place for people to reach out to you if they want to get connected to your music, if they want to get connected to you for collabs, or maybe they just want to follow and, see what the Seds Vortex is like, be part of the tribe.
Yes, come be part of the tribe. Any platform on social media, I try to stay very on top of my notifications. Instagram is probably the best way
Hmm.
to get in contact with me, or through my Gmail, sedsvortex@gmail.com for bookings. But yeah, I try to stay up on everything as far as, getting in contact with people and future
Hmm.
show announcements. I also did just launch my website a couple months ago,
Nice.
which is super
Look at you.
exciting. Yes, sedsvortex.com. So we got like the official domain and everything.
And you own the domain.
Yes, yes. There were a few years I've been using the Wix, the free, websites and whatnot, but it was definitely time
Good.
to upgrade and, get that profile all set there. So all my tour dates, tickets, information, anything you need will also be on there too.
Awesome. That is wonderful to hear. Sedsvortex.com. Everybody should go there right now, immediately, and flood the website so it crashes. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't
Shut it
crash the
down. No, no.
Let's just shut it down on our own
Take
website.
it break the internet. No.
Do a
But there's
flip.
also a place, yes, yes. But there's also a place to sign up and be part of the tribe on there too. Just go down to
Awesome.
the contact button there, and you can put in your information, get signed up for emails and texts and whatnot too. So
Right on. So as our parting shots here, we're going to talk a little bit about the music video for Cymatics, and then I always ask some silly questions at the end to take us out on a little bit of laughter. And I never, ever, if you've ever watched even one episode of Ready VIP, no, I never tell my guest what I'm going to ask, and it's always something shenanigans. So be prepared. It's coming. This
okay.
is the shark fin popping up. No, no. You know the silly questions are on the horizon. Right after we talk about Cymatics at least one more time. Um, so we've talked about the song and we talked about its origins, but now we're going to talk about the sweet music video that we're about to produce for it. That the audience is about to watch in like a lot less time it's going to take me to produce it between now and then.
It
Um,
is a journey.
it is. So I connected with the song right away, and I have been trying to upgrade my give back, my personal, like this is my investment into our community, is that every artist I bring on, I want to give them a platform to tell people who they are. This is why Ready VIP exists. Chris and Ben, who support us, have been really adamant about us giving people the opportunity to launch themselves, right? Just let show them the world. Uh, but the other part of that is making art together. I, as an artist, love to make art, and being part of your journey, even a little bit, is really exciting for me. And so, for a song that I listen to regularly, this is like getting to be make a music video for like a Subtronic song or something. This
Oh,
isn't
no
just
way.
I'm making something for somebody who's a guest. This
No, it
is
means a
my
lot.
music I listen to. It means so much. And so I had to level up. I literally, right? And so I started looking at big film productions. Shout out to their Instagrams and stuff. And they have a plethora of tutorials and YouTubes on how to make movies. And I was like, if I'm gonna make a music video, I want to make a music video. And so I made a like kind of a shot list based on some of the promo that they had just because I made it on my phone. I was like in the middle of work, like I can't get cymatics off the brain, right?
Gotta do this.
And I sent you over the shot list, and then you went on vacation. You went, and I didn't hear from you for a little while, um, which is great. Like go vacay and do all the wonderful things. And then you dropped in my inbox. Here's all the shots. Like, and it was incredibly organized, which makes it so much easier on me. You have
Oh,
no
good.
idea.
We try.
Um, and so I'm going to combine the two. I'm going to take these big movie visuals of like dragons and bone dragons and hydras and basilisks and all kinds of cool things. And I'm going to overlay it with magic visuals for said. And this is also the first music video I'll get to talk about before it's made. So
Ooh.
everybody else, we
Okay.
did the interview and then I made the music video. So this is first that I guess the audience gets to hear about the process. Um, and so I sat with your song playing over and over and going, okay, if I'm visualizing this in my head, and Sedona's in the middle of like the mountaintop somewhere, what is this? How does this look? And so I just I gave you the shot record, you gave it to me, and now I'm putting shots together where Sedona is like on the decks in the middle of a forest with magic.
I'm here for it. Ah.
And it brings together, I think, the concept that you and I both quite enjoy, which is music is magic, right? And it's hard to
Yes.
distinguish the two. And so this music video, I think, is going to sell that motif very strongly, and I hope everybody enjoys it and plays it on repeat and just watches it a whole bunch.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Me too. It that's the thing about art too, right? Like, as it's never ever finished. You just get to a point where you're like, I am satisfied, and I don't
Yes. No, 'cause it would never get done. We would never put anything out. I'm such
never.
a perfectionist that like I could do millions of things to the things.
Me too. But I am gonna pour it into this all the perfectionist energy. We're gonna come up with something awesome. Um, so now for the silly questions. Now that they've got to hear about dragons and magic and fairy tales and everything. So my first question, what was the childhood book that introduced you to the fantasy, to the magic, to the whimsy of creativity? Everybody has that one book or that one show or that one thing that was that spark. What was it for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. And I'm so embarrassed to even say this, but I don't read that often. It's so bad. It's so bad. I
Could
mean,
be a
in school,
comic
of
book, could be a
course.
cartoon, who
Could
knows?
be a comic book cartoon. Let's see, because I've always been more into like shows and
Nice.
movies.
Okay.
And I think if I had to choose, I love the concept of Maleficent. I just think it's
Nice.
so, and I don't know if that's a book. It probably is based off of a book, but either way, that is definitely the story that had inspired me to kind of just go for it and let go of my inhibitions and
Mm.
what people are thinking or what I'm thinking, and just kind of like just be free and let my vulnerability shine through. And I feel like when a lot of that is happening, it's when people
Hmm.
can really connect with you. When you're not afraid of looking like a fool up there going crazy, balls to the wall, like people are like, okay, like I'm not concerned about how I'm looking too, and
Hmm.
I love that. I want people to feel free. And Maleficent really comes from a story of being an outcast in
Yeah.
society and, based off of how you look or, a darker energy and it's perceived a
Mm.
certain way. And, fighting for the perseverance and the courage to be brave enough to, get through those hard times and come out on the other side as being like, no matter what I look like, I can still do this or I can be
Hmm.
this, you know? And I just love that Maleficent. It takes the story from the opposite side instead of like, oh,
Hmm.
the pretty, perfect princess, over here. No, we're going for the other side, the person who's been through some stuff and what is their journey like and, why are they the way they are? And I just love that story.
I agree. It dark and beautiful, right? Like it encapsulates those two concepts. And taking it from a different perspective, I think is just the hallmark of a good artist, right? Being able to see a story and go, yeah, but what does this say from the other side? What does the other side
Yes.
think?
I love that you said that because so many songs that I'm writing right now, for the future, whatever, I'm trying to put myself in different perspectives. It may
Nice.
not have been something that I personally went through, but seeing somebody that I love go through it and like maybe what are
Mm.
they feeling, and I feel like that's you hit the nail right on the head with that. The perspective is everything.
You're a good storyteller. You're going to be able to achieve that.
Yeah.
So question number two, and this is an oldie but a goodie. Anybody who's played along at this point that has their paintbrush or pencil out and they're keeping up. Yes, I do write in paintbrushes sometimes. Um,
I love that.
what is your favorite Pokemon?
Ooh, okay. It's so basic, but Pikachu. I mean, I have to
Oh,
go with.
okay.
I know it's not that it's basic, but it's obviously the most popular one. But there's just something about Pikachu that just it's always
Awesome.
resonated with me. When I was little, I would definitely watch a lot of the Pokemon shows, but kind of fell off of it for a while. I mean, time just
Of course.
blaming
And
on
there's like a
lack of
million of them
time.
now.
And there's so many now. I couldn't even tell you like
Yeah.
probably the newest ones.
Yeah, I'm a OG Pokemon 150. I probably played like the first four gens or so. And then I had kids and they play now. So it's
Oh,
great to
that's
watch.
awesome. Oh my gosh, that's great. Could pass it down.
Yes, absolutely. The passed down knowledge of Pokemon, right? This is talk about a side quest we're going on this episode. This is a pretty regular thing in my house for my daughter to come up and say, "What's good against fairy type?" And then you have to list it, and then she'll be like, "Which Pokemon are of that type? What moves do
Fun.
they have?" Like she's very inquisitive about these things, and as a dad who's now I'm a Pokemon master apparently. I have to like
Yes, you
call
are.
on the lore. I have to call on turn the hat backwards, let her know what, we're
Right?
about to get into it. So, Pikachu, you're the first person to answer with Pikachu. And
What?
it definitely matches your energetic personality, so I could see it.
Oh,
Pikachu's
the
a spirit animal.
electricity.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Um, question number three. If you could have any collab with any artist tomorrow, who would it be?
Oh my
We
gosh.
ask the hard questions here at Ready VIP. If you need a
This is
second,
so
I,
hard.
you
Yeah,
know,
okay.
on the last episode, I gave him a top five, and we ended up giving like nine. And I was like,
Okay.
so this episode, we're not gonna make it easy. We're not gonna give you all the space to call out all your friends and every
Course
artist you
not.
love. Just one,
Just one. Wow. Okay.
and we're gonna
I'm
tag
gonna
them.
give I'm gonna give you two because one person is unfortunately not here anymore.
Okay,
Um,
fair.
but that one, RIP would have been Mac Miller. I love Mac Miller.
Yes,
I love Mac Miller.
me too.
That was always the dream collab for me,
Mm.
up until the sad day. But
Posthumously still putting out music too.
which is so crazy to me that like that's even happening and like who else is doing that, and so I just Mac Miller has always been like
Yeah,
one of my favorite rappers since I was like 13, 14,
same.
got me into rap. So
I got the
and I see
T-shirt upstairs
countless
with his
times.
face on it.
Oh, I love it. I actually got to meet him too,
No
at the
way.
martini at the Marquee. So it's just so full circle getting to play there too. But on his Good AM tour, and it just,
Heck
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like his greatness just brushed off on me, hopefully. So,
I grew up in Northeast Ohio, so when he was like an
oh,
underground rapper in Pennsylvania, I knew of
yep.
him. Like he was doing like basement shows with 15 people. And then I get out of the army and I look and I'm like, oh shit, I know
Look
who
at this
this
guy
guy
now. Like,
is.
I saw him when he was like doing the
Right?
start.
I saw his like posters stapled to telephone poles in Pittsburgh, right? Like
Oh my God.
throwback. I'm dating myself here. But so
So
good choice.
cool.
Okay, so that
Yes.
100% that was your bonus. Acceptable answer. You
Okay,
get an
cool, cool.
extra. I was gonna say no. I was gonna
I forced
hold
it,
your feet
but
to the fire. You managed to slip that one in.
managed to slip Mac Miller in. Okay, so let's see. The second, okay, well, the person that the artist I would collab with, it's got to be Purity Ring. Purity Ring. I don't know if you're
Ooh.
familiar with Purity Ring.
Tell me more.
Okay, so it is an indie electronic duo.
Okay.
It's a guy and a girl, and the girl sings, and the guy, I think they both do production, but he doesn't really like sing or anything.
Hmm.
But they have been around. Well, I started listening to them in 2012 when one of their I think it's called Shrines, their debut album came out. And it was always something that I would revert back to. Like I used to do
Mm,
cheer and I was in cheer competitions and
nice.
very intense
Very
pressure.
Pikachu of you.
Yeah, very Pikachu. And yeah, you would literally like have 2 minutes and one chance to get it right when
Mm,
you're out there
hmm.
doing your competition. And I
Definitely.
would always zone in, put Purity Ring on, and it was something that would bring me back because I deal with awful anxiety and performance
Mm.
anxiety as well. And just something about their music just really, really gets me back into believing in myself. Um,
Oh, that's
just so
awesome.
awesome.
Heck yeah.
They're so ahead of their time. Like that first album they put out, it's very electronic heavy, and if you listen to it, you would think it had just came out. It's very ahead of its time. I'll have to send it to you. But very
Definitely.
dark, creepy, horrorcore lyrics and
Nice.
very processed, auto-tuned heavy, trippy vocals.
I'm here
And
for it.
about, yeah, multiple albums since then, and everything is really good. It's definitely more on the um indie side, but I love indie music as well. So
Heck yeah.
yeah.
Well, that is your three questions. Great answers. And that takes
I
us to
survived.
the You did it.
I
Hey.
survived.
And that takes us to the end of the episode. So before we go, I'd like you to be able to give any shout outs that you want to say, any parting shots you'd like the audience to hear from you, anything that you feel like you just didn't get a chance to voice yet. Now is your moment.
Oh, I love that. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you. Thank you so
Oh,
much for having me on here and really like believing in my project and listening to the music. And I can really tell it resonates with you, and all the feedback that you have in your head is what I had in my head producing it. So it's just really special. And I'm just
oh,
happy to be here doing such an amazing podcast with such amazing people. So first and foremost, got to shout out ravedaddy, Ready VIP, Chris and Jeremy. You
mm-hmm.
guys are all awesome. So got to shout all you guys out. Definitely have to shout out Relentless Beats for giving me all of the
Yeah.
opportunities that I have been so lucky and blessed to have. I've been able to play the main stage a few times, and I couldn't have done it with Dylan, Lalo, and the whole team at Relentless Beats, Bree as well, and Thomas Turner. So I have to thank them because they have really given me the platform to build my fan base. So shout out to RB. And shout out to all the great promoters that are out there in the underground doing amazing things. Full Moon Festival, Dark Mark,
Mm-hmm.
The Function. We got Stephanie and Roman there. We got 11th House with Jordan, and there's so many other people I can name drop, but those people have done a lot for me, as well
Yeah.
as Sin, Matthew, Sin, and Lavender with Horizon. So gotta pay homage to where everything started about 4 years ago now. Crazy. And got to shout out Wyatt, my partner,
Yes.
my life partner. He has seen all the ups and downs, and he is my rock through this whole process. He gets to see everything. So
Shout out Pretty
just got
Hard
to start up
Music.
there. Yes. And shout out to Tribe. Shout out to the whole
Yes.
Suds Vortex Tribe. Any support, big or small, that has been going on throughout the years, I'm over the moon and just happy to do what I'm doing. And there's so much love and gratitude that I'm feeling. And I just have to, thank you guys. I wouldn't be here without you guys. So all the love.
So Tribe, I'm speaking directly to you now. I'm gonna lean into the camera, all right? We don't normally get special guests like you. You guys you're kind of VIPs yourself. Most of the time, people just come and hang out with us. They listen to music. The Tribe, you guys you're kind of a thing. And so I need you to go and share this episode, to go and share the music video, to like support said unquestionably. Just boost the signal as far as you can make it go. All right? Like that's all I'm asking. You can do that for me, Tribe, can't you? I believe in you.
We got it, Tribe. We
Hell
got
yeah.
it.
So before we go, I always like to give our guests the chance to have the last word. Would you like to say roll the music?
Roll the music.
And what you're going to see now are what happens to particles of sand and other various particles when a sound resonates across a plate and resonates those particles in tune with the sound. Because when we think, we're not just sending out a wave which resonates the energy, we're sending out on a frequency outside of the range of human hearing, we're sending out a sound. Everything is sound.
because of dreams. All because of dreams. All because of dreams. Dreams. All because of